Alright, trying a new camera angle up there. Don't really think it's going to work, but anyway, I had to do the usual button pressing bullshit. It's just really such a stupid camera. Minnow. Flip minnow. Don't buy it. Anyway, well, unless you get it cheap. Anyway, Broken Mech guy calls himself Shame on Canada. Yes, you are the shame of Canada or any other country you might be from, and so forth. And this is not him, this little scared-looking pooch. I wish they wouldn't even breed these dogs. I mean, they just look so unhappy and nervous and putsy. They all look like they have diarrhea or something. Anyway, yeah, on with the show.
Okay, this will be my response to InMendham and all of his sycophants who want to argue that...
Oh, it's just such a bullshit move, sycophants. Like, I invented vegetarianism. I never even used the line, meat is murder. I mean, I'm not really for those little, whatever, sound-bitey, bullshitty phrases anyway, those little cliches of life. Yeah, I'm for kind of the argument thing, and you explain why, and blah, blah, blah. You don't use, like, little symbolic blah, 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 so if you can avoid it. So, but yeah, I defend the idea of this idiot.
Killing an animal and eating it is analogous to and indistinct.
Look, say it right, okay? Torturing an animal and eating it. Imposing life on an animal for the purpose of your food. Exploiting an animal for your comfort. Not for your necessity, your comfort. Alright? So describe first the crime accurately. Or really, it's a bullshit premise, isn't it? Aren't you playing the same kind of little wordy game here? Meat is murder. You're going to call what you're doing... just killing and eating. We're not doing anything else. We're just killing and eating. Yeah. No, you're doing more than that, asshole. Really. And look, the meat is murder thing. You know, people say all the time, like, you know, in a baseball game, he murdered it. You know, because he murdered the baseball. You know, or, you know, somebody had a bad day and they say, oh, goddamn, it was murder at work today. You know, so, I mean, it's a word that's used to describe a circumstance, okay? People, when they say meat is murder, they're not saying, okay, technically there's a law against what you're doing and you've committed a crime against the law and it's called murder. No, they're not doing that. They're saying that, as a practical sense, yeah, what you're doing is committing the same kind of act as a murderer. You're going out and finding a victim and exploiting them for your benefit, okay? For your selfish intent. You're taking from them for yourself, okay? That's what a murderer does. That's the basic, fundamental part of their act, is a taking, and that's what we're describing here, asshole. And so you're the one playing the word games. You're the one being just a complete, obnoxious, shameful piece of shit.
Distinguishable from the act of murder, ethically speaking.
I don't think anybody's saying it's indistinguishable from, you know, the rape and murder of a 12-year-old girl in, you know, Pasadena. So it's just stupid to have this argument. Again, Kevorkian was convicted of a murder. All right, did he commit a murder? No, he didn't.
This is my ethical dilemma for you guys. If I was in, you know, if there was a steel cage separating us, so that you couldn't lay your hands on me, but you had a gun, and I was there, and I was going to kill a chicken right in front of you.
Yeah, okay, well, why make it a chicken, though? Again, you know, you could, if you had any courage, you know, you'd talk about a pig or a bovine or some other animal of sentience, especially around the world what people are eating. So you'd pick an animal that had a real sentience to them, like this little dog. You'd pick this little dog and say if this little dog was sitting there and you decided you just wanted to have a little dog sandwich, what would I do about it? That's where we're heading.
Would you advocate or use force, or even lethal force, to stop me from killing that chicken?
Well, I mean, it is a good question. I suppose it depends on how long I get to think about it. And, you know, I can roll it through my head, a perspective, and I can say, well, look, in 100 years this guy would be convicted of the crime. 100 years from now it'd be acknowledged as a crime. But yeah, then I'd have to measure it against today's current law. Okay, there's no law against it currently, so I don't have the law behind me in doing it and stopping you. I haven't persuaded enough people. I haven't satisfied my obligation in a democracy to convince enough people that it's wrong. So yeah, the social contract obliges me to basically allow you to commit the act. But if you're going to say there's no repercussions, there's no social contract, yeah, you're dead. Okay, yeah, I have no problem with that, because you're likely to do it again and again and again, and you're likely to torture animals in the future. So why shouldn't I stop you? You're a taker, not a giver. You're a taker on planet Earth.
Because I would have no ethical problem advocating that it would be okay to use violence and even lethal force to stop a person from committing murder.
All right, well, look, so let's say there's somebody in a vegetative state. Now I'm going to go kill them, okay? Because I'm playing my Angel of Mercy game. Yeah, they're wasting a huge amount of resources. I've done a simple calculation and figured out I can save 10,000 lives in another country with that money. I can give people comfort. 10,000 people with the money being wasted on some guy whose brain is pea soup. It's just bullshit. So I've got the shotgun. I'm ready to shoot him. Are you going to shoot me and stop me? Are you going to shoot me and stop me from killing that piece of shit, that dead corpse? Technically, I'm committing a murder, right? Technically. But technically doesn't mean anything, does it? That's right, because there's always circumstances. And you're just playing a game here and denying the existence of circumstances.
Another human being. And I would believe that I would even do that myself. So, if you...
Yeah, so again, so you would, let's say, I'm going to put a retarded person and a gorilla on gurneys and inject them with poison. And I've decided to do it to the retarded person, and you could stop me, and that means that the gorilla gets the poison instead. Are you going to shoot me? Are you going to stop me? Let's say there's two of me. I'm twins, and we're both standing in the road, and you can only save one of us. One of us is going to die, and one of us is going to live, and you have to choose which one. And we're identical in every respect, except one of us eats meat, and one of us is a vegetarian. Otherwise, we're identical. You couldn't tell us apart. Okay, the only difference being that one contributes to an industrial complex that tortures sentient creatures, and the other one has a clean, at least as clean on that score. It doesn't create any unnecessary harm. It just eats apples and oranges and other crap it picks from a tree. So which human being are you going to save? If that's the only factor, the only distinguishing factor between the two in your consciousness, you're going to tell me you can't appreciate that there's a difference between those two human beings, and that one of them is going to cause less damage in the future than the other? You're going to honestly tell me you can't make that distinction? You can't see that distinction? Then you're a fucking idiot. I mean, let's just make it one steps on worms intentionally. He goes around, just steps on worms intentionally. Just steps on worms. He just likes to step on worms and squish bugs. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to decide that the bug squisher is probably not as nice a guy as the guy who's not squishing the bugs? Stupid ass.
You guys are seriously going to argue that killing this chicken is completely the same thing as murder?
Yeah, well, I guess it depends. This little chicken dog, it's little nothing. Somebody could look at him and say, "Oh, he's nothing. Look at him. He doesn't even have a brain. He can barely even lick his own ass. He's so feeble and broken and psychologically troubled." Yeah, it all depends on whether the chicken's your friend. If you make a friend out of a chicken, if the chicken's my friend, if I hung out with a chicken for a few months and the chicken knows me and I know him, and he eats him out of a little hand and he goes and has a conversation with me and shit, then it's even more sure, because now I'm emotionally attached to the animal. Now I've gotten to know it. And that's going to be part of this equation too. But you want to sit there and pretend that that's not part of this equation, because all you assholes like to stand way far back. You never get to know your victim first. You don't spend a day with your victim and see how they're living and what they're up to. No, you just walk up and say, "Oh, there it is. I'm going to sneak up on it and put a bullet in its ass." I mean, fuck you, weaselly cunt bastards. Who are you to fuck somebody else's day up?
Then I want to know what you would be willing to do to stop me. from killing that chicken?
Well, look, again, it's not very hard. People prove that every day. It's really easy to pull a trigger on a gun, right? It's really easy. Go get up close with the animal, stick a knife in its fucking neck. Try doing that. But whatever. Yeah, it's really easy to pull a trigger. It's really easy to make a calculation in one's head that you're a menace to the sentient life on planet Earth because you are fostering and facilitating and financing quite directly the persecution, abuse, torture, suffering of animals for your convenience, not for your necessity, for your convenience. So you suck, and I can't say anything. I'm sorry. There's nothing else meritorious about human beings than their effect on other sentient creatures. What else is there to measure your fucking worth based on? There is no other fucking measure. And so I don't know you to be a great humanitarian. I don't know you to be a great person. I see you to be... Oops. Yeah, batteries. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know you. I don't know what kind of person you are. I don't know how many people you've harmed in your life. I don't know any of that crap. So if all I know about you is that you go around killing animals and torturing them first, let's put that in there, that you breed them for the purpose of your consumption, and that you torture them, mistreat them to make them economically cheap and easy for you to get your convenient flesh. Yeah, I mean, if that's all I know, and I don't have anything else to say to put that against and say, well, look, but, okay, he's, saved thousands of people from harm through some other mechanism, or he's done something else to prevent animals from suffering. Okay, fine. All right, but I don't have that evidence. If all I have is evidence is you playing your little strangle the chicken game for your stupid fucking chicken burger, yeah, fuck you. So, yeah, question answered and such. Poor dog. If he only knew what an asshole you were, he'd be biting your fucking scurvy ass. Yeah, he'd certainly run away from home. If you only knew what a fucking asshole you're hanging out with. You poor dog. Poor dog. Have to live in his ignorance. That's the key word, right? Ignorance. You're not ignorant. You have no excuses. Animals have excuses for being fucktards. Human beings have tons of information available. They have lots of enlightenment all right here at their fingertips. They have no excuse for being a complete asshole in the face of the logical, demonstratable reality right the fuck in front of them. No excuse to ignore the pain. No excuse to ignore the suffering. No excuse to rationalize excuses for their addiction. It's quite obvious, quite transparently seen. So yeah, you're guilty as fucking goddamn hell of being a big fucking asshole. The end. Thank you very much. And such.